Thank you for accessing this video. This video explains Chapter 1 of Introduction from the Manual for DPHE to support POSHWA on O&M of Piped Water Supply System. This video was created based on the training material used in the training of trainers for the PICMAC DPHE Phase 2 project supported by JICA. This module covers Chapter 1 of the manual. The page number is from 1 to 1 to 1 to 14. Today we will learn about points on the operation and maintenance for the facilities in POSHWA piped water supply. Chapter 1 is the starting point of the entire training. It gives you the current state of water supply services in Bangladesh, the key issues with O&M, and the purpose and structure of this manual. Let's begin with Section 1.1, the organizational structure of the piped water supply system in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, drinking water in urban areas is primarily supplied through piped networks. However, not every urban town has a piped water supply system in place. Where piped systems do not exist, individual water supply options are provided instead. To understand who is responsible for what, it helps to know the scale of the urban water sector. Bangladesh has 4 major cities, 7 city corporations, and 329 POSHWAs across the country. The key question is, among all these urban areas, who builds the water systems, and who runs them? That is what the organizational structure explains. The organizational structure of piped water supply in Bangladesh is divided into 3 groups. Group A, Vasa areas in the 4 major cities, Dhaka, Chattogram, Khulna, and Rajshahi. Water supply is constructed, operated, and maintained by autonomous bodies called Water Supply and Sewerage Authorities, which is known as VASA. These organizations handle everything independently. Group B, City Corporation areas. There are 7 city corporations in Bangladesh: Rangpur, Barishal, Mymensingh, Sylhet, Kumela, Narayanaganj, and Gazipur. DPHE generally establishes the water supply systems, and the city corporation is responsible for operation and maintenance. In some cases, the CC also expands the system by themselves. Group C, POSHWAs at district and Upzila level. Of the 329 POSHWAs in Bangladesh, 247 have a piped water supply system that is either operational or under implementation as of 2024. In most cases, DPHE builds the system, and the POSHWA is responsible for operation and maintenance with technical support from DPHE. This manual is specifically designed to support DPHE officers who assist POSHWA in Group C in carrying out effective O&M. This map gives a visual overview of the piped water supply situation across Bangladesh. POSHWAs that already have piped water systems are shown in green, and those that do not are red. As you can see, a significant number of POSHWAs still lack piped water supply. DPHE's role is not only to expand infrastructure to new areas, but also to ensure that existing systems are properly operated and maintained. This is where technical support through this manual becomes essential. Now let's look at overview of O&M of water supply systems in Bangladesh. First, let's be clear about what O&M is meant to achieve. The primary objective of efficient O&M of a piped water supply system is to ensure the continuous supply of safe drinking water in adequate quantity and quality, sufficient pressure at convenient locations and times, while maintaining cost-effectiveness and long-term sustainability. There are two key terms to understand here. Operation refers to the routine, day-to-day functioning of all components of the water supply system, including intakes, treatment plants, pumps, transmission lines, service reservoirs, and distribution networks. It involves daily monitoring and management by technical staff. Maintenance is the process of keeping all structures, equipment, and machinery in optimal working condition. It includes preventive maintenance such as routine actions to prevent failure and corrective maintenance, which is actions taken to fix unexpected failures. Despite substantial investments in water supply infrastructure, inadequate O&M continues to undermine service delivery across many Peishwas. Systems deteriorate faster than they should, lifespans are shortened, and premature replacements result in significant financial losses. The key issues identified as contributing to poor O&M are times lack of finance, equipment, material, and inadequate data on operation and maintenance times, inappropriate system design, and inadequate workmanship times. More than one agencies are overlapping responsibilities times, inadequate operating staffs for O&M times, illegal tapping of water, high NRW and unmetered connection times, inadequate training of personnel times, lesser attraction of maintenance jobs and career planning times, lack of performance evaluation and regular monitoring times, inadequate emphasis on preventive maintenance times, lack of O&M manual, lack of ownership and accountability. Reluctance of assuring service by the municipal authority times. Lack of real-time field information. These issues are interconnected, and addressing them requires a comprehensive, structured approach, which is exactly what this manual helps you. The draft of Sector Development Plan 2026 to 2040 describes the overall O&M situation in Bangladesh. Let's look at the key findings. Challenge A. Periodic maintenance sometimes not done properly. Proper periodic maintenance requires regular inspection, leak detection and prompt repair, replacement of pipeline fittings and parts, flushing of pipelines, and regeneration of production wells. When this maintenance is neglected, systems deteriorate rapidly. In some cases, water supply systems have been abandoned within just a few years of completion because production wells stopped functioning and pipelines began to leak extensively. Challenge B. Do not pay attention to disinfecting water. Water disinfection is sometimes neglected. In some areas, authorities are not applying bleaching powder or chlorine for disinfection, largely due to a shortage of skilled staff. This puts the health of consumers at serious risk. Challenge C. Supply is mostly intermittent. In many Peishwas, water is only supplied for a few hours a day. During non-supply hours, the pressure in the pipes drops. This low pressure allows contaminants to enter the system through leakage points, resulting in water contamination and health hazards. Challenge D. Usually in the water supply system there is no water meter. In most Peishwas, domestic water meters have not been installed. As a result, consumption is not driven by cost, but simply by the availability of supply. During supply hours, water often flows freely from open taps, leading to significant wastage. Challenge E. Customer care service is almost absent. Systems for recording and responding to customer complaints are largely absent. DPHE is working to address this by training POSHWA staff to develop basic complaint management systems. The absence of demand management remains one of the biggest operational weaknesses. Considering those challenges, it can be said, O&M improvement is not just a technical issue, it is directly linked to financial viability. So, control of wastages of water through routine O&M and use of water meter in the system may help increase the revenue of the service provider for the sustainability of the water supply system. Let's now turn to unaccounted for water and non-revenue water. Both UFW and NRW relate to water losses within the distribution system, but they are different slightly. First, UFW is the older term. It represents the difference between the total volume of water produced and the amount actually billed to customers. It includes both physical losses and apparent losses, theft, metering errors. Formula is shown: UFW is equal to water produced minus billed water, while NRW is the more contemporary term. It refers to water that is either lost or not billed to customers, but it excludes authorized unbilled uses such as firefighting and water supplied to street hydrants or religious institutions. Formula is shown: NRW is equal to water supplied for revenue billed. UFW and NRW has two main components. 1. Physical losses, such as water lost through pipe leakage. 2. Administrative losses such as water lost through illegal connections and unmetered usage. Reducing UFW and NRW is essential for improving the financial health of water utilities and for conserving water resources. What is an acceptable level of UFW and NRW? In well-run water utilities, UFW and NRW is typically kept between 15 to 20%. The optimal level varies depending on local conditions, particularly the volume of bulk water supplied. In Bangladesh, however, water losses in distribution systems are estimated at 20 to 50% of total flow. The greatest losses occur in the distribution system and at household connections. Additional losses of 10 to 20% occur at the source, in the transmission system, and at treatment plants and service reservoirs. Given the intermittent of supply in most POSHWAs, ranging from 6 to 18 hours per day, pipes are not always under pressure. During non-supply hours, contaminants can be drawn in through leaks, creating health risks. Systematic O&M to address leakage can simultaneously save water, prevent contamination, improve pressure, and increase revenue. It will be one of the most impactful actions a POSHWA can take. Next, volumetric water consumption. The principle of volumetric water consumption is straightforward. It means tracking the exact volume of water that passes through a water meter. This is the foundation of effective water management. To minimize UFW and NRW and maximize revenue, the ideal situation is to install water meters at all distribution and service connection points. The metering system provides two key benefits. First, it reduces wastage. When consumers know they are being charged for what they use water more carefully. Second, it enables fair and economical pricing. The charges are based on actual consumption, making the system more equitable. In Bangladesh, domestic and bulk water meters have been installed in many major towns. However, over the years, most installed meters have become non-functional due to poor quality, mishandling, or tampering. When meters are not working, billing is often estimated on a flat rate basis, which removes any incentive for consumers to reduce usage. In such cases, electronic meters should be considered as a more durable alternative. Next, challenges of O&M. The operation and maintenance of water supply systems involves a wide range of challenges. Three major categories stand out. First, aging infrastructure. Many water supply systems are old and require constant repairs to remain functional. The continuous need for maintenance on deteriorating infrastructure increases both costs and operational burden. Second, availability of skilled personnel. Operating and maintaining of complex water supply systems requires technical knowledge and practical skills. In many Paushavas, trained and experienced staff are in short supply. Third, ownership, accountability, and financial sustainability. Clearly defining who is responsible for the system and holding them accountable remains a challenge. At the same time, without a stable revenue base, sustained investment in O&M is difficult. Addressing these challenges requires a comprehensive approach. Effective planning, adequate investment, a trained workforce, and the adoption of sustainable O&M practices to ensure long-term, climate-resilient service delivery. Climate change is adding a new and serious dimension to O&M challenges, particularly in Bangladesh. The key effects of climate change on water supply systems are written here. Precipitation patterns changes. Both increased flooding and more frequent droughts make it difficult to maintain consistent water supply. Coastal erosion, increased salinity, and extreme weather events. It damages water infrastructure, requiring costly repairs and upgrades. Climate-related disruptions. It increases expenses for water treatment, energy consumption, and emergency repairs. Rising salinity, sedimentation, and pipeline corrosion accelerates deterioration of facilities and increases maintenance needs. Bangladesh's coastal Paushavas are especially vulnerable as saltwater intrusion directly threatens groundwater sources and the integrity of distribution infrastructure. To respond to climate change impacts, the following adaptation and resilience measures are required. Strengthen infrastructure. Reinforce pipelines, treatment plants, and pumping stations with climate-resilient designs capable of withstanding flooding and saltwater intrusion. Upgrade treatment technology. Implement water treatment processes to remove salinity and other contaminants to ensure safe drinking water. Diversify water sources. Explore alternatives such as rainwater harvesting and integrate them into the piped system after appropriate treatment. Develop climate-responsive water management plans. These should address water allocation, storage, and distribution under changing climatic conditions. Raise community awareness. Educate communities about climate impacts and encourage responsible water use and conservation. Build financial resilience. develop financial portfolios to fund adaptation investments, and prioritize the most effective resilience strategies. Additionally, from a regulatory standpoint, the Department of Environment in Bangladesh classifies piped water supply projects as red category, requiring an environmental impact assessment or initial environmental examination. The environmental conservation rules must be followed. Refer to the DOE website at www.doe.gov.bd for details. Here, let's take a brief look at SCADA, which is a modern technology that represents the future direction of water supply management. SCADA stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. It is a computer-based industrial control system that monitors and controls industrial processes in real time. In the water supply sector, SCADA is used to control pumps, valves, and chemical treatment processes that helps operators ensure water quality and manage reservoir levels remotely or locally. A SCADA system performs 4 core functions. Function 1. Data acquisition. Sensors and control relays continuously gather data from equipment in the field such as flow rates, pressure, temperature, pH, turbidity, voltage, and current. This data forms the basis for all monitoring and decision-making. Function 2. Networked data communication. The data collected in the field is transmitted to the central control system through a communication network, either wired connections like Ethernet or wireless methods such as radio or cellular networks. Function 3. Data presentation. Once received, the data is processed and displayed to operators through a human-machine interface, HMI, typically in the form of charts, diagrams, and dashboards. This gives operators a clear, real-time view of system performance. Function 4. Control. Operators can use the HMI to send commands and adjust process parameters. The system can also be programmed to respond automatically to abnormal conditions, for example, shutting off a pump if pressure drops below a safe threshold. A SCADA system comprises 5 integrated components. First, field devices, which are the sensors and actuators that measure physical variables in the field. Second, PLCs and RTUs, which are microcomputers that collect field data and execute basic control logic. Third, supervisory computers, which are central servers that run the SCADA software and issue control commands. Fourth, the HMI, or human-machine interface, which provides a graphical display for operators to monitor and interact with the system. And fifth, the communication infrastructure, which is the network that links all of these components together. When properly implemented, SCADA brings significant advantages to water supply operations. Real-time monitoring and remote access to system data, automation of routine operations, reducing manual workload, improved overall efficiency and reduced system downtime, enhanced safety through automatic responses to abnormal conditions. While SCADA offers powerful capabilities, it is important to be realistic about its applicability in the current bourgeois setting. In Bangladesh, SCADA is still an advanced technology for bourgeois-level systems. Two preconditions must be met. 24-hour continuous water supply and trained personnel. And please note that SCADA systems are also vulnerable to cyber attacks. This section is therefore included as a reference for future planning, not for immediate implementation. Next section is about legal framework for O&M of piped water supply. Several laws, policies, strategies, and guidelines govern water supply provision, operation, maintenance, and monitoring in Bangladesh. Key documents are shown in this slide. As a DPHE officer, familiarity with this legal landscape is important for advising Porshwa on compliance and ensuring that O&M activities are carried out within the appropriate framework. The Porshwa Water Supply Management Guidelines 2023 specifically state that water supply shall be operated and maintained by Porshwas through consumer connections, tariff collection, legal enforcement for dues recovery, and disconnection where necessary. Porshwas are also responsible for maintaining water quality and quantity to the satisfaction of consumers. Except for the Porshwa Water Supply Management Guidelines 2023, all other water supply-related acts, policies, strategies, and plans are covered in Chapter 2, Part 1 of the Comprehensive Technical Guidelines for Rural and Porshwa Water Supply. The next topic is Requirement of O&M Support Manual. Why is an O&M support manual needed? Until now, Bangladesh has lacked a standardized technical manual suited to the specific conditions of its water supply systems. One that DPHE could use to support Porshwa in managing their systems effectively. This manual fills that gap. A well-structured O&M strategy must include three key components. Water Safety Plans, WSPs. WSPs ensure water quality through risk assessment and proactive management. For detailed guidance, refer to Chapter 2 of Part 3 of the Comprehensive Technical Guidelines for Rural and Porshwa Water Supply. Standard Operating Procedures. SOPs define roles, responsibilities, and operational schedules. They also help identify annual costs and revenue sources, providing a clear operational framework for Porshwa. Service Improvement Plans. SIPs outline future investment priorities for upgrading infrastructure and improving service delivery over time. This manual is designed to help DPHE officers and Porshwa authorities develop structured O&M programs that are tailored to their local conditions, system size, and operational capacity. Especially, standard operating procedures are essential tools for guiding local operators through their day-to-day O&M tasks. Good SOPs cover all major areas of the water supply system. Here, four main areas are explained. Water sources. Proper management of groundwater and surface water intake systems to ensure reliable and safe source water. Conveyance and pumping. Regular operation, inspection, and maintenance of pumps and motors to ensure continuous flow throughout the system. Storage and treatment. Cleaning and disinfection of reservoirs, proper chlorination procedures, and management of filtration processes to maintain water quality. Distribution systems. Leakage detection, pipeline inspection and repair, and management of household connections to minimize water losses and maintain service levels. Each of these SOP areas is covered in detail in the subsequent chapters of this manual, chapters 3 through 13. As a DPHE officer, you will use this manual to guide Porshwa in developing their own site-specific O&M action plans. Beyond technical procedures, sustainable O&M also requires attention to the following important aspects. Financial planning. Porshwas must maintain annual budgets that account for operating costs, revenue collection targets, and financial sustainability. Effective billing and revenue management are critical. Without a sound financial base, even the best O&M plans cannot be sustained. Capacity building. Many local operators have limited technical skills and experience. Hands-on training, troubleshooting support, and continuous skill development must be provided. Without proper training, routine maintenance becomes inconsistent, leading to equipment failure, service disruptions, and higher costs. Community involvement. The community plays an important role in protecting water sources and the distribution system. Ward-level consumer forums can monitor sources, report potential contamination, and provide feedback to Porshwa for timely action. Awareness programs on water conservation, hygiene, and water quality should be designed and implemented with the involvement of these forums. Complaint and feedback management. Porshwas should establish complaint and suggestion systems so that consumers can report issues such as leakages, low pressure, or water quality concerns. All complaints must be addressed within a reasonable timeframe to maintain public trust and service quality. Then, how can you use this support manual? This manual is generic material, but it is not designed for any specific city corporation or Porshwa. Instead, it provides a universal technical framework that any service provider can use as the basis for developing their own O&M action plan. Following this manual, DPHE will train relevant personnel ** from city corporations and Porshwas to prepare site-specific O&M action plans and carry out regular O&M activities. Key features of the manual include: each topic covers the outline of basic theory as well as confirmation points and control measures, explained in detail. Strong emphasis on visual explanation sketches, diagrams, and photographs are used throughout to ease understanding. Content is structured to be practical and directly applicable in the field. The following chapters cover the full range of water supply components and management topics. As a DPHE officer, focus on the chapters most relevant to the type of water supply system in the Porshwa you are supporting. The modular structure allows you to refer to individual chapters as needed. From now, the structure of each chapter is explained. One of the strengths of this manual is its consistent format across all chapters. Every chapter covering a water supply facility follows the same structure, so readers can quickly find the information they need. The only exception is Chapter 2 Basic Water Supply Plan, which deals primarily with planning rather than O&M operations. As a result, that chapter contains only the outline of basic theories, without the diagnostic and troubleshooting sections found in other chapters. The next slide shows a diagram of the standard chapter structure. Let's walk through the standard chapter format shown in this diagram. In each chapters, the head numbering starts with chapter number. So, in this diagram, X is chapter number. X.1 Outline of Basic Theories. This section provides the foundational knowledge that DPHE officers need to support Porshwa on O&M. It covers technical terms, equipment functions, system principles, and key formulas. This is the minimum knowledge required to understand and guide the facility. X to confirmation points and control measures. This section is divided into two parts. X.2.1 Operational aspect describes what to check during normal operations. X.2.2 Diagnosis guides the reader through how to assess the condition of a facility using required data, confirmation points, and recommended actions. Each diagnostic item is structured around risk necessary data confirmation point action and countermeasure. X.3 Troubleshooting. This section summarizes the content from X.2. 1 in a table format, organized by Phenomenon Cause Risk Countermeasure. It helps operators quickly identify problems and find solutions. X.4 Inspection. This section provides recommended inspection items and frequencies for POSHWA to report to DPHE. Regular reporting helps DPHE identify trends and provide timely technical guidance. For DPHE to provide meaningful O&M support, the starting point is understanding the current situation in each POSHWA. This requires systematic collection of operational information, including functional status of water supply facilities, population being served, hours of water supply operation, incident and breakdown reports, facility operation records. Without this data, it is impossible to plan or implement effective O&M. If DPHE and POSHWA do not have current, reliable information, they cannot identify warning signs or deteriorating trends before problems escalate. This is why continuous information collection and interactive communication between DPHE field offices and POSHWA are essential. One practical channel for this communication is the Watson Committee, which stands for Water and Sanitation Committee. It is already operating in many areas and can serve as a regular forum for sharing operational data and concerns. DPHE's role goes beyond giving technical advice on a case-by-case basis. The goal is to build the long-term capacity of POSHWA so that they can manage their systems independently and sustainably. This brings us to the end of Chapter 1 Introduction. In the chapters that follow, we will go deeper into the specific O&M requirements of each component of the water supply system, from intake structures and pumps to pipelines, distribution tanks, and financial management. Thank you for watching this video. We look forward to continuing the training in the next chapter.